So a big question that a lot of people have is like, do you always have to be loud and obnoxious to be seen on YouTube? And if you're an introvert or you're just more of a quieter person and you don't want to shout and scream and show off, then it may feel like, oh, maybe there's no chance for me to do something like that. So in this video, I want to give you an example of somebody who's very much the opposite of all of this. And when we're analyzing this, I hope it will be very helpful for you to understand the elements at play that make it easy for her to be successful in her own way. And I'm talking about somebody who I don't know much about, to be honest, but I've seen some of her videos on the Food Channel a few years back, and I always thought, she has a very interesting presenting style, and it's very interesting and compelling. And her name is Ina Garten, and apparently she's like a really famous food presenter. Her program is called Barefoot Contessa, I believe. I'm not going to comment on the recipes. I'm not going to comment on anything else she does, but literally just comment on and break down how she presents to the camera, how she talks to us. If you've seen my previous video about Gotham Chess's presenting style, or Gordon Ramsay's presenting style on camera, this is going to be a really welcome difference. So let's have a quick look at a video. I picked one that's on YouTube here, 5 favorite pasta recipes from Ina Garten. And we're just going to look at some bits and I'm going to draw my conclusions and we have a chat about it, okay?
Lemon capellini is just about the fastest weeknight pasta meal you can make. And one of the reasons is because the capellini is so thin, it cooks in 2 to 3 minutes. So I've got 1 pound of capellini. I'm gonna put it in a big pot of boiling salted water. And the amazing thing is, the sauce doesn't take much longer to make. It's lemons and butter.
Okay, so apparently she's very famous for putting a lot of butter in, but I'm not gonna comment on the recipes, but let's focus on the 3 V's as always: the visual, the vocal, and the verbal. Okay, visual meaning the body language, vocal meaning the tone of voice and the way that she uses words. Actually, that's the verbal really, but the vocal is really the tone of voice. So first, and then we'll also get into how she actually aims to, what she does to us, her impact energies and so forth. So we're going through everything, and you can pick up a lot. So number 1, what do you think of her body language? Let's have another look at her body language.
So the first thing I need is a 1/2 pound of butter. I know, it's a lot of butter, but after a bad day at work, it's always good. 2 lemons. I need the zest and the juice.
So what I notice about her body language is that she is extremely effortless. She doesn't seem to spend any extra effort, like she doesn't do anything extra basically from the beginning of the video. And maybe we'll just go back again. We'll see more of her body language here, but let's have a look.
It's so thin, it cooks in 2 to 3 minutes. So I've got 1 pound of capellini. I'm gonna put it in a big pot of boiling salted water.
So she literally just does the minimum required to follow the actions of what she needs to do, yeah? So it comes back to a principle that I think is really powerful also in social situations, which is minimum effort. Minimum effort gives other people this feeling that you are very comfortable and that you're very much, in charge of yourself. So if she did anything extra, like other people do, right? If I compare this with Gordon Ramsay, for example, he plays the role of somebody who is very energized the whole time, right? She does completely the opposite. So it's minimum effort, and it feels very much like she's resting within herself. She's very comfortable in her own skin and the way she talks to the camera. It's a bit like, hey, I'm here and you just happen to be here listening to me, okay? So how does this come across? To me, it comes across as extremely natural. It really, really extremely natural, and it makes us as the viewer relax with her. Does that make sense? Because here's the way to make somebody feel relaxed. The way to make somebody feel relaxed in your presence is to be relaxed yourself, right? That's the easiest way. So I can't make you feel relaxed by saying relaxed. No, right? Because, hey, I need to be relaxed myself, and then I can induce that same relaxation in you. And what's the effect of that? The effect is that we are drawn in. We are drawn into her world because we feel so comfortable, and she's very comfortable to listen to. All right. So the good news for the introverts and for the quieter people that want to make videos, that want to have an audience, if you want to develop your YouTube channel or you want to make more videos, and you're trying to think like, do I have to shout and scream the whole time like other people? Then no. The good news is you can, if this is more your tendency, you can be quieter and you can be relaxed. But then you need to really make sure that you get really comfortable in your own skin, so that when you talk to the camera, we want to join you in your world because you are so comfortable within yourself. Let's look at the vocal.
And the amazing thing is the sauce doesn't take much longer to make. It's lemons and butter. So the first thing I need is a half a pound of butter. I know, it's a lot of butter, but after a bad day at work, it's always good. 2 lemons. I need the zest and the juice.
Okay, listen to her. It's really interesting. It goes very much along with her body language, right? Again, it's very effortless. It's very relaxed. It's almost like it literally is as loud as it needs to be heard. It's not trying to grab us. It's not trying to say, hey, look at this. Not like Gordon Ramsay at all, for example. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. No. It's like, hey, I'm here. I'm just talking you through this thing. And again, the range in terms of the vocal range is relatively small. It's not that extreme. So she did lift it up a little bit at some point, and it got a little bit quicker as well. But overall, it's a very sustained, comfortable tempo, and the range is not too high or too low. It's just sort of like very much in her comfort zone. And comfort is really the key word, comfortable. And extremely natural because of that. So if you're somebody that's presenting to camera and you want to sound comfortable and draw people in, which is what you can do here, you really want to stay within your range and get really comfortable within that. And then you can have the effect of drawing people in, and because, you are so comfortable within yourself. Like I said about the body language, her body language and her voice tone go together really well. This works really well if you have something else to focus on. So if you're showing something, like for example, for cooking, if you have a cooking channel, or if you demonstrate something on a flip chart or something, if you are having another area of focus, that can be incredibly helpful, and it adds to the effect. If you do straight to camera as well, yeah, absolutely, that can work very well as well. But again, you need to sound really comfortable. And she does. What she also does is, in terms of intonation, she does have a comfortable way of using the pitch going up and then going down. So she's quite comfortable coming to a full stop at the end of the sentence. Sometimes she goes up as well when she needs to carry on speaking, but it's very comfortable, very effortless how she does it. Now, that leads us to impact energies. Impact energies are the energies with which you're trying to affect the other person. It's something that I've adapted from something I learned in drama school, which is like, the energy that we use to impact another person. And that has to do with the tone of voice and the body language. And they often go together. In general, her comfort impact energy, I would say, is gliding or stroking. And that is basically, you want to imagine this as a physical action, okay? So when she talks to you, it's almost like she's stroking a cat, yeah? Like, this is how we do it, and this is what I do. Now I'm getting the lemons, and now I'm getting the pasta, and I'm putting them... So you always want to imagine that you're doing something physical to the audience, and you become somebody that's actually much more compelling to listen to because you're very connected with the audience. And I'm imitating slightly at the moment just to get the vibe across. So stroking or gliding, as it's formally known, is basically sustained, direct, and light. Yeah? So it's not like... you take the lemons and then you get this. No, it's light, okay? I can talk more about this, but in this case, it's really important to just realize, imagine that it feels like she's stroking us when she speaks, yeah? You want to think about it like that. Sometimes there's a bit of dabbing in there, so she gets a little bit more excited. Not much, but... And then she gets a little bit like this. And here, let's do this. And that, ooh, yeah, look at these lemons, yeah? But that's basically the whole range. So other people have a much bigger range, but her range is very compelling, and it really works within her self-contained sort of persona. Right, let's listen a little bit more.
So I just want to get the very, very thin yellow part of the lemon. And remember,
And let's listen to the verbal now. Let's listen to the words she's using.
you always want to zest them before you juice them. I'm going to do a second lemon. This pasta is really versatile. You can either serve it with a little shrimp or chicken, or if you've had a really bad day at the office, you can just have it all by itself.
Okay, so what's nice there is she keeps the language very simple. I think she also focuses on building empathy. Like, for example, when she mentions if you had a really bad day at work or whatever, whenever you can, drop something in like that, absolutely. You need to understand your audience, and that's really interesting in terms of the words you're using. Now, the problem is most people only ever think about the words. Like people script out their YouTube videos or their sales videos, and they only focus on the words they're saying, but not on their tone, their energy, and their body language. And you know what? On average, your body language and your tone of voice is a lot more important in terms of how you come across to another person than the actual words you're saying, on average. Now, she also does little jokes when she makes a mistake, so that's pretty good actually. But she keeps it very simple. There's nothing too crazy with the way that she uses language. So nothing too complicated here. If you're somebody that likes to use simple language, I totally believe in simple language. Now, some people use really complicated words. People like Russell Brand, for example, come to mind. Somebody who I went to drama school with, who's going through all kinds of other situations right now, but he's always had this tendency to use complicated words, and that works for him and people find it impressive. But on the other side, simple language is really helpful if you want to make sure that as many people as possible relate to it. And it also makes you maybe not impressive, but compelling in a sort of relatable kind of way. So in this case, she uses the language very well, and I think there's nothing really particularly more to point out about the way she uses language at this stage. Now, another key question you always want to ask yourself is, how do you see your audience? What are they to you? Yeah. So if you're making a video, any video, you want to ask yourself, how do I see the person I'm speaking to? When you ask yourself that question and you let it affect the way you speak, you should start to relate to the camera in this case very specifically, which is always much better than if you just, hey, I'm talking to a camera and I'm presenting here. So what I believe she sees us as, from the way that she sounds, is like she talks to us like a house guest, like a friend that she's invited over for dinner or something. And we've asked, hey, how do you do this? Can you do this recipe? And can you talk me through it while you're doing it, so I can learn it? And that's how she talks to us, I think. So always a question you want to ask yourself, how do you see your audience? Like, how do you see the person you're talking to? What are they to you? What kind of relationship are they to you? Now, the other question that's always really interesting to ask is, how do you see yourself when you make a video? Who are you? And how she sees herself, in this case, to me, sounds like as a host and maybe as a teacher. A host? Definitely a host. It feels very much like she's hosting us in her kitchen, yeah? So we're house guests in a way. So the main one, I think, with her, it feels like I'm a host and I'm sharing some secrets with you, right? And it is true that in a way, the whole way through, it feels a bit like she's having this energy about her. And let's just watch a little bit more, see if you can see it as well.
It's a lot of lemon zest, but you really want a lot of flavor.
It feels a bit like as if she's got this mindset of, I've got some secrets that I'm going to share with you. So it's a lot of lemon zest, but you really want the flavor. Trust me. Like, I've got this, and you'll see, right? So it's a bit like, I have some secrets that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to reveal this stuff to you, yeah? And she does it in a very relaxed way. So that's really interesting to me, and I find this fascinating. Now, psychological actions. What she's mostly doing, I believe, is instructing and advising. Let's listen to it and think about, hey, basically, hi, I'm being instructed. Hey, I'm instructing you, yeah? Think about it like that.
Lemon zest right into the butter. And then the juice of both lemons. I love my little juicer. It's so fast. You definitely want to use fresh lemon juice. I'm not a big fan of anything but fresh lemon juice. Always has that.
See there, she advised us beforehand. She was instructing, so we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And by the way, you really want to make sure that you get fresh lemon juice, right? So that's advising, and that has a specific tone to it, and that has a specific energy to it. And that's what you want to be aware of. The key with why I'm even talking about psychological actions or psychological action verbs is because when you're not specific, you basically become self-conscious. The magic of psychological action verbs, the magic of impact energies, the magic of thinking about these things, even about how you see your audience, the magic of that is it makes you lose self-consciousness. See, if you don't have any thoughts about who's behind the camera, you are going to be focused on yourself. So if you want to become less self-conscious on camera, you need to really be able to focus on who's behind the camera. And the more information you can focus on in terms of like how you want to make them feel, you know, what do I want to do to you? The less self-conscious you're going to be, yeah? And the more impact you're going to have on the other person. So what are the main lessons for you? If you're an introvert and you're a YouTube creator or a coach that makes videos or somebody that is a course creator and you want to develop more of a following and you want to use video in your business, you don't have to shout or scream. I know it may seem like that with the big view YouTubers, and it certainly can help to be dramatic and have a lot of external fun. But if you are really comfortable in your own skin, and you just go fully within your comfort zone, and you're really not self-conscious about being on camera, then you have the potential to draw people in to your world so that we can be a part of your world and feel comfortable with you. But for that, it's really important to feel really comfortable within your own skin, to be really relaxed, and to talk to us like a good friend, for example. Or you can think specifically about who you're talking to, where you get the desired effect. I really personally enjoy really relaxed presenters, I have to say. I also enjoy people like Gotham Chess, for example, to listen to when they're presenting. But I also believe that there is a real massive part of the population that really enjoys just relaxing with you, being drawn in and understanding what's happening in your world, as long as you're really relaxed and comfortable. And if you're somebody that really wants to work on your own presenting style and wants to get better at making videos, I'm currently offering half an hour free consultations with me on my website. You just have to follow the link here in the description and sign up. If it's still available, then we might be meeting soon on Zoom and have half an hour to chat through what's working currently for you and maybe what you could work on next in terms of your presenting and what you're doing with your videos. And maybe we'll then meet together again as your coach, and I can help you further to really take your video and your business to the next level.